This is Popping the Bubble with hosts Sandra Ponce de Leon and Pete A. Turner.
Hi, I'm Marina Bay. I'm co-founder and CEO of BeFastTV. We are a video channel promoting startup founders and covering events related to innovation and technology. So think of us as MTV of tech. We about emerging technologies and people behind it. And you're listening to Popping the Bubble.
This is a very interesting setup. We're in here. Hi, everybody. I'm Sandra Ponce de Leon.
Hi, I'm Pete A. Turner.
And I'm Marina Bay.
Which you know. And this is a first for us because we are actually recording our podcast, which is called Popping the Bubble. Popping the Buble, it's spelled, so no E at the very end. And we've been here at the Vault recording and talking to amazing startups all day. We got this opportunity to now record video and podcast simultaneously. So I think this is a first of its kind in Silicon Valley.
Absolutely.
Never been done before.
Yeah, glad to have you here. We are BeFastTV. We a media partner of The Vault. Yeah. We're glad to collaborate with any podcasters, any other media. It's important, I think, to support each other.
Absolutely.
For sure, yes. Yeah.
Absolutely. The Vault is a collaborative workspace and innovation hub, and they do amazing things for entrepreneurs and founders and startups, helping them grow and innovate and get to market fast. So really happy to be in this space. It's a lovely space, and we met some amazing people, and now we get to interview you, Marina. So I guess, you've been, this is your audience and also our audience, but tell us a little bit about how you came to found BeFast.tv. Yes, all right. We did it. Amazing. So yeah, Marina, tell us how you came to found BeFastTV. What brought you here?
All right, so BeFastTV, we in fact started out of Hong Kong, Southeast Asia. I've been living in Hong Kong for the last 7 years, and this is just only my first year being here in San Francisco. So in total, we've been around only for 2 years. The first year we started in Hong Kong, the same idea. A lot of wonderful startups that we met in Hong Kong and across Southeast Asia, in Singapore, in Jakarta, in the Philippines. But then after a year, we realized since we're covering technology and startup founders from the tech industry, there is only way for us to develop further is to go to Silicon Valley, to be here in San Francisco, and to meet those wonderful startup founders and create as much content about them as possible. So awesome. That's why we ended up here.
Yeah, we're in a similar space because that's what we do. Yeah. We talk to founders, and we're all about demystifying Silicon Valley tech culture for the masses. We have an opportunity to speak with everyone that really makes up the startup ecosystem, everyone from VCs and angels to the innovators themselves and startup founders. And it's so exciting and exhilarating and inspiring for us. I guess, now that you're here in Silicon Valley, how has that transition been for you? What are you finding that's different from the startup scene here versus in Hong Kong?
I would say, in general, startup ecosystem is very friendly. No matter who you meet, like VCs or people from the accelerators or incubators or startup founders, everyone is very friendly and ready to help. Especially if you have a media label, and say, "Hey, I'm having a media channel. Like, do you want to be connected? Let's have a coffee, and then maybe you can tell us a story." But in general, it's very inspiring people. Those people very inspiring, and they can motivate you day by day, and that's what move me and move my team go further, because we see everyone and see everyone is striving for the idea, for the project or business, and you just see the sparkle in the eyes and they say, oh my god, I want to create more and more content. I want to meet other people with the same energy level and bring their story to our audience and share and say it's possible. If you have an idea, just go for it, start a business, and try for it. And so there is no difference, I would say, between Hong Kong or Silicon Valley startups in this thing. But here, I would say there is more infrastructure for startup founders to start to become entrepreneur. They have more resources, not only in terms of money, fundraising, but also in terms of talent. In Hong Kong, I would say a lot of startup founders they stuck at this point where they cannot find the co-founders, they cannot find the right coders, programmers, or UX designers. So this is like the biggest difference that I see between Southeast Asian startups and startups from the Bay Area, Silicon Valley.
What are some of the threads that you draw between all of the different types of startups you've talked to? I mean, international, Jakarta, everywhere. What stands out? What have you picked up along the way that you probably didn't know before?
In Southeast Asia, okay, so the interesting observation that I made while being in Jakarta and talking to lots of startups, majority of them mobile phone startups, applications. And the reason behind it because they say, well, look at Indonesian population. There are so many of them, but then more than 50% they don't have in the laptops. They never had any computers, desktop computers.
They just do everything on their phone.
All of them. So all of them on motorcycles and having their smartphones in their hands. So yeah, this was the first and like, wow, this is so true because like Hong Kong or any Western countries, they think, okay, let's start a business, and they go for the web page first, and then they will think about the application maybe later on.
I think one of the things that's so important for founders, and that what we've found along the way, is the ability to tell your story in a simple and easy to digest manner. Like, how do you help in that process? How are you helping founders like really kind of hone in on what their core positioning and messaging should be?
Well, first we start asking like what made you to start this business? How did you find this idea? What's your background? Do you have any founders? Maybe you found this idea together. Because I would say it doesn't matter what kind of business you're running. You go for work, you go to your office, you go and talk to your co-founders every day. So it should be something related to either your hobbies or passion. So I ask the stories about themselves first, where they come from, like where does your family live? And by this, I kind of try to merge their business story, the company story, with their personal story. And they say, okay, let's talk about you first, and then we'll tell the story about your business, about your company. And by this, they open up. They say yes, yes. Something happened to me, and then I realized that something is missing on the market, so I decided to come up with this and that idea. So
right, yeah. And there's always a personal story behind the technology, right?
Yeah, maybe you can tell me like what's your story? Why did you decide to demystify the Silicon Valley stories?
I can say that having worked in the startup ecosystem for many years, I've been here primarily my entire career in Silicon Valley, I always felt very, very fortunate about the conversations that I have day to day with founders and entrepreneurs and people that are really doing things that are changing the world. So I think I was already predisposed to that and had that curiosity. And when Pete approached me about doing something together, it really just felt like a natural thing to do. What about your story?
I used to be a spy, and I came back from a lot of wartime, and I don't know anybody. Everybody I knew was a warlord, and so I had to find things to do. And I know how to tell stories. I know how to interview people. And so I approached Sandra saying I wanted to learn more about the whole startup world, and she knows the people. And so between her Rolodex and my ability to put the show together, it was just like I said, it was a natural fit. So for me, it's about telling stories and creating a network of people that are fascinating and enriching lives in any way that we can.
Do you interview VCs that often?
We from time to time, absolutely.
Like honestly, because like I studied economics and management, and then I was working for a business consultancy firm, and then all of a sudden, like I shifted to a media industry, and I started learning how to interview people. But it's just one side. Another thing was I didn't know about anything about like venture capitalists or how people raise money, how company raise money. For me, it was what's going on? Who are those VC? Where do they get this money? And whose money is that? Right?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Well, we just had Ben Metcalf on, and he is an early founder of WP Engine for WordPress, and also worked at Uber, and now is a VC himself. And I think it just comes from for him. He's an entrepreneur turned VC. A lot of his experiences as an entrepreneur are things that he can bring to the table, helping other entrepreneurs. So I think a lot of VCs also get into the game to help other entrepreneurs come up. So there's a lot of the VCs that we've met. But yeah, where do they get their money from? Being smart about investing and being early entrance into startups that hit big. Maybe some unicorns in there.
Yeah, because like in Asia is also getting popular to become a VC firm, especially maybe the already second, third generation American-born Chinese. They're coming back to China, to Hong Kong, and if they family is well off, they decided to set up the funds. So, and they kind of trying to shoot here and then okay, let's invest money in this startup or in that startup. And sometimes I think, oh, well, like, do you have any experience in like investing money, especially like in Asia, or on the opposite, like Chinese investors coming to Silicon Valley, and they're also trying their luck to invest in the local American startups. So it's fascinating to observe all the things. Like I'm really excited to hear these stories and what's happening. Lot of people losing money as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think for those companies that are coming in to invest in the U.S., they really have to find a good partner, a very trustworthy partner here, and make sure that those companies are getting vetted in the right way, because it can be considered a gamble. And I think that a lot of people are drawn to the market for that very reason.
What's your maybe the most exciting startup that you interviewed?
What do you think? You want to take a stab at it?
It's always the next one, honestly. Like right now, I love BeeFlow. We learned about them through IndieBio, but they're changing how we keep bees. And I love it. And that's just the first one to come to mind. But if you were to ask me again in 5 minutes, it would be like, it's always the next one. They're always so fascinating, and it blows me away, like what we're learning about with consumer habits. We haven't put the show up yet, but we had a cyborg anthropologist, and she looks at how we interact with our cyborg lives, so like with our phone, riding on the motorcycle in Jakarta, and what that means in terms of humanity and everything. So it's always the next thing. I love it.
Yeah. I think the thing that's exciting me so much right now is the blockchain space. And there's so much energy around it here in San Francisco. I'm sure you feel it. It's just palpable. And we've been having a lot of conversations with founders that are involved in the space. And most recently, we actually just spoke with Ben Bartlett, who's actually a politician. He's a lawyer turned politician. He is the city of Berkeley's vice mayor, and he's also running for California Assembly. He is also leading the city of Berkeley's ICO, Initial Community Offering is what he's calling it. So basically putting Berkeley's municipal bonds on the blockchain and making them accessible to residents of Berkeley, so that anyone can buy in at a piece of municipal bond at a level of $25 if you're a Berkeley resident. And ultimately, the vision with that is to start to fund from a bottom-up level the things that as a community Berkeley needs. Find a solution for homelessness, be able to fund things like a new fire engine. So it's a super innovative way to what I see is an actualization of the promise of blockchain, which is the democratization and just a complete upending of the power structures that be.
Well, in this kind of project, I see the point, but sometimes when these ICOs pop up left and right, it's like something shady is going on.
Definitely, yeah. What about you? What's the most exciting startup that you've recently had a chance to talk to?
I have one startup in mind. The startup is from Hong Kong. They have this super ring, so it's IoT wearable device. It's a ring connected to your phone application. But what does this ring do? You can talk. You just put the ring on your finger, and then you can answer your phone just putting your finger next to your ear.
Wow.
So this is like another level of technology, and you can
Yeah.
talk to it.
Just walk
like
around with the
exactly.
finger in your ear.
Yes.
Well, I mean, we're not too far off. I mean, with the Apple Watch, you know, it kind of got us already accustomed to constantly looking at our watch and getting phone calls even.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is this one that excites me.
Are you here to stay? Are you now Silicon Valley entrenched, not going back? What's your plan?
My plan. Well, I'm in between because we still have our team back in Hong Kong,
Mm.
and they're working hard now. Especially like these days, we had so many contracts, customers, which is good because we're a startup too, which has been running for 2 years, and finally we're getting those customers, desired customers, which is good. I'm here in San Francisco in the States also to start rolling the ball in terms of business,
Sure.
looking for customers. So, but then in the end of the day, like in a few months, I have to go back to Hong Kong, support my team, and then, to find maybe more customers. And then maybe again in half a year, I'll come back here. Yeah, so this is my life. And
It's exciting.
it is. I mean, living in San Francisco half a year and then another half a year in Hong Kong.
It's an incredible time, though, to be able to narrowcast to a client set, who has an even narrower audience that they want to really market to, and being able to bring that to market, and being small enough to be nimble to adapt to what somebody needs. I think it's a great time to be able to do this stuff. So, even if it's across an ocean back and forth, it's a fantastic time to do what we do.
Yeah, exactly. And now I'm thinking the market's still very different, right? But the fact that we can play locally, but at the same time we sell to our customer that we're a global company because we're not that narrow thinking in the box only. We think globally, and we're ready to help our clients to be global as well. So if they have some needs, we just talk to them and say, okay, so what are your problem or challenges, and we can maybe borrow some ideas either from Hong Kong or from Silicon Valley and to apply them to certain other markets.
You're an entrepreneur and a founder. What are some of the lessons that you've learned along the way that you would, or advice that you would give to other entrepreneurs on their journeys?
I would say people.
People.
Yeah, so yeah, find the right team members. Been hard, still looking for either new co-founders or team members, and especially for a startup, you should be very careful hiring people because you don't want to first of all disappoint your employees saying like sorry, but yeah, it didn't work out, and but then you don't want to disappoint yourself as well because it's not just costs you money, but also it costs you time and effort and energy. So I would say better take some time to learn about one's mission.
Hey everyone, this is Sandra from Popping the Bubble, and we're coming to you from the Vault in San Francisco.
What's the Vault?
Well, thank you for asking, Pete. The Vault is a full-stack innovation ecosystem and collaborative workspace.
Full stack innovation, ecosystem, collaborative work. That sounds super techy.
Well, you're right there, Pete. Full stack means that in addition to being a great place to collaborate and network for startups, the Vault has a full suite of startup advisory services, such as fundraising help, legal, IP, and marketing services.
Let's also mention how the Vault works with corporations through Viz, the Vault Innovation Services, and VIA, which is the Vault Innovation Academy, which also offers courses in developing innovation at scale.
The Vault celebrates innovators from around the world and provides entrepreneurs with the right tools and support to grow better and faster.
This segment of Popping the Bubble is brought to you by The Vault. Thanks to Kevin and his team for all the amazing work they do to fuel innovation in Silicon Valley and across the globe.
Values, and if if you have a fit, not only as personalities but also in terms of career, then yeah, just go ahead. But then take your time and assess the situation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's great advice. We hear that quite a bit from a lot of the founders that we talk to. Always about the team. Be very
In the end of
careful.
the day, it's all about people. I guess.
Yeah.
And as
It
a
really
startup,
is.
you're spending so much time with your team, 24/7. So yeah, you better get along with them.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How do you guys publish your content with your videos that go up? Where they go on YouTube, or where do they go?
Yeah, so we use primarily two platforms, YouTube and Facebook. Now we're exercising a lot on Facebook live stream, and it works very well.
Huh.
Yeah, so because the algorithm of Facebook goes in that way, so it pushes notification if you go live.
That's right.
And then we ask our all partners and friends to share this and to engage with the conversation so people can ask questions while we running live. If there is an event, they can ask the question to speakers and share with their friends and tag them. So it's really good platform to boost your video, your content.
Mm.
With YouTube, we're planning to live stream on YouTube as well. Now they have also this feature live. So if you, let's say, if you have a content about technology, what we do, we just put the tags on our posts, like technology, innovation, I know Silicon Valley, and then all people who is now happen to be on YouTube, they will see on the right column saying this we recommend to you because you're into technology, and this channel just goes live.
Yeah.
Check it out. So I think maybe it's going to be the second platform that we can use more often, YouTube.
Very
Yeah.
cool.
What about you guys? Podcast? Where do you distribute your content?
Well, we have our website, poppingthebubble.com, and we
With no E at the end.
yeah, with no E at the end, of course. But also, it goes out in RSS, so iTunes, Stitcher, all the places where you get podcasts. That's the main thing. We're going to start looking at doing video, but we also like to provide, I don't know, what would you call it, like the safety, the comfort of editing for our guests. So we're trying to figure out what that means, because a lot of our guests are new to this. They're founders, but they aren't seasoned on the mic. And so we want to give them that protection of, not that they say things wrong, but just polish them up so that they are professional, like they really are.
Yeah, yeah, I see what you mean. Like we meet so many people. They, in real life, they exciting and vibrant, but then as soon as they see the camera and lights, they just freeze.
Yeah.
And then like, oh my God, like what happened to
I
you?
can see why. They're actually pretty bright. So yeah, it could be a
But I
little
see
bit
what you mean,
intimidating.
yeah. And then we tell straight away to all our speakers and guests, just it's all right. We can shoot another take and then take another take, and it's fine. Like
Right.
as soon as you feel comfortable and polish your statement or your pitch, we find we can take your time and do this at the best. And yeah, maybe also, with video, another platforms that we have in mind that we want to distribute our content is Apple TV, the
Oh, sure.
iTunes movies,
Wow.
Amazon Video, Roku. Yeah, so I mean, I think nowadays people wants to have this content right either into the ear, right,
Sure.
podcast, or just visual. I mean,
Yeah.
people don't read that much anymore.
No.
Even
Yeah.
me, I
So
read
do
like.
you do closed captioning as well on your videos?
Yes,
You
most
do?
of the time, yeah, we try to put the caption so if they're sitting somewhere in the public transportation, they can read,
Right.
yeah, the video.
There's freedom of learning in terms of movement. So instead of being stuck with whatever's on the radio and having 7-minute sections and ads, and just never like, we can have a long conversation. It can become a two-parter, but there doesn't have to be like the segmented nature and the scheduling that goes into that stuff. I think everybody prefers this format once they've discovered it. And then also, like, what do you love? What, like, literally, do you love banana farming? There is a podcast about it. There's someone that does videos about anything.
Yeah.
It's out there, and it's
Yeah.
incredible. If you love quilting, you can learn about quilting every single day, and it's just
Exactly.
great.
I mean, I use my application like Spotify or podcast on my iPhone and just search there. I just use this platform as my search engine. And the same with YouTube. I don't Google it anymore. If I want to watch something or listen to something, I just go directly to
Sure.
this platform and search for that. So you guys, what's next? What's your plan? Who are the people next you interview?
We just went through a whole day of interviews. So I think that, we need to process through those, but there's always amazing, fascinating people that we
Wow.
want to talk to and run into on a regular basis, and even some people that we were scheduled to speak to today, which we weren't able to make it. There's just a plethora. I mean, for me personally, I love featuring women in the space. I think that having grown up in technology here, it wasn't necessarily that I saw a lot of female role models in positions of leadership, and especially women of color. color or people of color. So I love highlighting those kinds of stories, and so I'm always sort of on the lookout for who might be a next potential guest that fits the bill. But the world-changing technology is pretty exciting.
It's amazing.
The indie bio teams, and there's going to be a cure for cancer in our lifetime.
If not the next 10 years.
I know. I'm so excited.
So we love those kinds of conversations, and they're just so inspiring. And for me personally, just being able to see the potential of technology and actually seeing it realized. We've been kind of talking about it for a long time, and now can actually see these things happening that are really going to improve the world for the better. And it sounds so cliche. It's like the Silicon Valley, the sitcom, and it's everyone's at TechCrunch, Disrupt, and we're going to change the world. But it's true. There's a lot of companies that are doing that today.
Yeah.
So I just feel very fortunate that we get a chance to talk to those companies and tell their stories, to our audiences.
And then on the production side, just like Sandra was saying, we've got a dozen shows, maybe more, all now in post-production. And you guys know what post is like.
Oh my God, tell us. This editing process.
Well, that's it. That's like taking on video. You're like, well, it's not just as when you do a product at the level that we all do it. It's not just to start videoing and editing. Like that's a huge time investment. I mean, it takes 10 hours for an hour.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
so trying to do, and that's just the production side. That doesn't include the tweets, the Instagram, and the Snap. Oh my gosh! And it's like you can only take on so many things. So for us, we've had to learn, and we continue to learn. And I say we, I mostly mean me because I'm a big dummy. But trying to take on what we can actually do, not what we want to do. Because I want to do all kinds of things. I want to go grab 25 more shows right now, but we can't logistically process any more than what we have, and do it well.
Right. Yeah. So maybe an intern. That might be next.
Yeah.
Yeah, guys. I mean, like in terms of editing, we always joke within my team members, like we live through the same event over and over again, over and over for hours.
Yes.
And we look at this speaker for hours.
Oh my gosh.
But I think that there's some beauty in that, and in the editing process itself, you kind of hear the human, and you see the human when you're actually trying to edit out an or stutter. I think that there's something kind of like sweet about that because you get to kind of just get this closeness with the people that you're talking to. I think that's
when you have this flow as well, especially with visuals, like you are in this creative stage because we also combine with other clips, so we do some visuals, some effects, so it's really nice. Like we're creating something.
Yeah.
And we definitely want to present our speakers, our videos in a better way, so they would love it and the audience would love it too.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, maybe we should definitely collaborate. We have on our website, we also host other podcasters.
Wonderful.
So we can shout out to our networks, to our audience, so they can check your podcast.
Yeah, it would be fun to do this again. It's always a bit of a change of pace for us to have these lights shining, and I'm sure for you to have headphones on.
Oh, I have an idea, guys. Maybe since we're practicing all the live streaming, have you thought about the live commenting, or how you sell like the sports game? They do the live.
Okay, yeah. Sports
Like
commentary
Twitch
and analysis.
Yes.
Yeah.
If there is an event, just imagine like there is an event, 300 people, and you have some speakers on the stage, and the audience not just looking at them and listening to the speech, but also they listen to you, how you analyze and comment all the things.
Yeah. That's a great idea. It's a great idea. We should try it.
Yeah, totally. If I'm allowed to run my mouth, I'm in. I'm glad to do it. I love it.
And be opinionated.
Yeah, sure.
Yes.
Yeah. We all talk for a living, right? We all have the benefit of talking to incredible people who are super smart, and we just get to steal everything that they say, process it, and then we get the big picture. We look at them. And the world doesn't get to understand like how it all fits together, and it's just a neat thing to be able to tell these stories like this.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Marina. Yeah, this was super fun. We'll do it again.